Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 86 and today we're starting things off in front of the beautiful architect building that we built in the previous episode. This is SAHARA and it is looking pretty spectacular if you're asking me. We spent a bunch of time on it and we are going to be working on this throughout the week. We're going to be doing the redstone, we're going to be doing all of the building, but this project is enormous. It's an absolutely enormous project that I don't think any of us, myself, Iskal or Grian, really expected. We kind of went into it a little bit naive, to be quite frankly honest with you. So as I say, that's going to be dropping in here and there throughout this week, but in today's episode, the main project that I want to work on is redstone related, and it's a big one as well. I mean, it's a pretty big project in of itself. You know my little super smelter that I have down somewhere here? This little fella? It's great. I mean, it's served us well throughout this entire season, and it's going to continue serving us well because I'm keeping it. I mean, it's going to be sticking around. However, I have a project that I want to work on soon that is going to require tons upon tons upon tons of glass. In fact, I think it's around about 27,000 blocks of glass, so quite a decent quantity. And I was thinking about it. I don't know if this little guy is gonna cut the mustard, essentially. So we need to build another super smelter, much bigger, much faster, and much more powerful. Now I know that Concorp have one, and it's amazing, it's spectacular, I'm very jealous of it. We're not going to be building one of that scale. However, obviously we can't use it because #shop at Sahara. Now before we start on this thing, we need to do a little bit of redstone work because this is going to be a shulker box based system. So we need to make sure that all of the shulker box stuff actually functions properly. This was my first idea for dividing up the shulker boxes. But I think I can actually do it smarter than this and also cooler than this. I mean, this isn't very cool looking, is it? How about something like this? So the shulker boxes go into here, and then that didn't sound good. So we get 1, 2, we've missed one, and then we get the one at the end. Oh, that would have been sweet. Well, this setup seems to make it work. So as you can see, I mean, we've already got some items in there, but if we hit this button, we get 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is going to divide up all of the shulker boxes that drop into the system into 4 hopper streams that we can then run into our 4 different super smelters. Right, I'm hoping that this shulker box unloading system should function, potentially. So gradually the items are being removed from this thing. You can see they're dropping down into the system. And then okay, that's good. So all of the empty shulker boxes are making their way into this hopper over here, and all of the items are being taken out by this hopper, which will of course make their way into the super smelter. That's good. That's very good. So now what I've done is I've constructed a system that then moves the empty shulker boxes that have been taken out here down into the bottom to dispense them so that all of the items get then put back into a shulker box. So say for example we put in 1 full shulker box of sand, that will then get converted into 1 full shulker box of glass, and it will all end up in this chest. And with the entire thing being 4 blocks wide, each one of the modules actually works out as being 4 blocks wide as well, which is quite nice. So this is going to be 4 blocks, then we're going to have 4 of them in total all lined up like that, and they're all going to be passing their shulker boxes into this end chest right here. So this is going to be the output line, and then of course these are our super smelters, which I've just done like a mock-up of, but obviously that will be filled with redstone as well. It's a technical project. There's a lot of redstone going on right here, but hopefully that should be everything. Now the only question is, where do we build this thing? I'm thinking we build it somewhere over by the witch farm because you have loads of space over there and it can be ugly without it being an issue. I'm not sure. So I reckon after spending way too long trying to find locations, deciding that I don't want the witch farm, deciding somewhere else, eventually coming back to the witch farm, that this area here is, do I like it? I don't know. Yes, for goodness sake, yes. So, we know where we're actually going. It's time to wipe out some of this hillside here, because I kind of want it to be in this space, indented inside this hill with the trees up the back, and of course that means that we have to drop it down into the ground. I've actually worked out where all of our furnace arrays are going to be going, and they're all going to go in a line like this. So if we just fly up here, we should be able to see that's kind of the size of this thing. It actually looks a lot smaller next to this. This makes everything look tiny. So here we've got all of the furnaces, and then all of the hoppers will run in, but this needs tons of hoppers. Like, seriously, tons of hoppers. I mean, it's 2 stacks of hoppers per one, so I need 6 more stacks of hoppers. 32 diamonds later, we now have all of the hoppers in place. I can't believe how much that has cleared me out. All of the iron and all of the wood. I suppose I probably could have farmed the wood. I was just being lazy, but still, 32 diamonds. So I think the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to build up all 4 of the super smelters, like get the actual super smelters done. So all of the redstone for those in place, which shouldn't take too long, I hope. And then once we do that, we add all of the bits around it. But you guys have seen me build a super smelter this season, and you've seen me build them in previous seasons as well. So I think it would probably be a good idea to do this in the form of a third-person time-lapse. Let's do this. So in today's time-lapse chat, I actually want to talk to you about yesterday's video, the one where I popped onto the SAHARA server. And I have to say, I am so happy to see the positive response that video received. You see, for those of you who don't know what the SAHARA server is, I would highly suggest checking out the video, but in summary, they are a group of people that are dedicated to technical Minecraft. It's essentially, it's like a Minecraft engineering experiment. It's like a science experiment, essentially, for Minecraft, and these are all incredibly technical people, all in the same place, all with one focus, which is to automate and just build everything to the best possible level that it can be. So things like witch farms, pumpkin farms, melon farms, everything's as efficient as possible and as ridiculous as possible, and it's absolutely amazing to witness. And I had the opportunity to go on there to check it out, to tour around it. I actually toured the witch farms. That took around about 2 hours, and then we also did a tour of the world in general, and I spent 3 hours doing that, and I think we only covered about 25% of the world. So this is a seriously big map that's been worked on for over 4.5 years, I believe. And I actually just want to say a huge thank you, first off, to SAHARA for letting me on, because, I mean, it's a real privilege to have hopped onto that server. I'm a mega fan of what they do, and it turns out that a lot of those guys were inspired by me to actually start with Minecraft Redstone, so that was absolutely lovely to hear. They'd actually seen my videos back in the day, and it's what got them interested in the redstone side of Minecraft, so that's incredible to actually hear that coming from such a talented group of individuals. But also, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who watched that video and left positive comments, because it's so cool to see that side of Minecraft still have so much interest in it. Because, you know, Minecraft is now nearly 10 years old, it's getting on a little bit, and it's so cool to see that people are still interested in the ridiculously technical side of things. So that's super inspiring for me. It means that I personally am hoping to take on a few technical projects myself and try out some of these exploits and things, because I know that there is actually an audience out there who are interested in it on my YouTube channel. So look forward to that, and thank you to everyone for checking it out. Well, I think it's safe to say that went pretty well. I mean, we've got all 4 of them constructed. I didn't run out with any resources, which was very handy. That's the most useful thing. When you're playing in Minecraft Survival, the most important thing is to make sure that you have all the resources you need on hand, because it saves you so much time in just running about trying to find stuff. So all of them have been constructed. They should all be ready to go. I haven't tested them just yet, but I imagine they're going to work perfectly, which is brilliant. So now all we have to do is we need to do the hookup system with the shulker boxes and everything like that, which is actually, yeah, that's quite complicated. Okay, let me just look at this again and try and make sense of it after a couple of hours away. Okay, so each one of these needs to be assigned to each furnace array, so that's kind of separate from the whole thing. And then this is totally separate, and then I guess this is just on the output of each one. So actually, once you break it up, it's not too bad. Let's start working. And just so you're aware, I know that I said that way too confidently. I mean, something's bound to go wrong at this point. Everything is going far too smoothly today. I think that is that bit, and as you can see, they're kind of going to be staggered along, so now we're going to have 4 modules of this in a line. This is going to look like such an awesome circuit. Like, all of these redstone wires just fiddling all over themselves. I really like the way this sort of thing looks. And that, my friends, is another thing knocked off the list. So that is all 4 of those in place. Now, the way that we're doing the fueling at this point in time is by putting the items into the chests. And so here's the thing, okay? I considered it very briefly. I considered doing another set of these. So we could do another set of these things for fueling as well. And they would have hopper lines running into them. And then the line would be somewhere up there, just a little bit higher up there. But I don't think we're going to have to refuel that often, because we're going to be fueling it using blaze rods. I'm going to put a full shulker box worth of blaze rods into this. And I imagine that's going to smelt a huge number of items. I mean, let me just quickly double check. Yeah, I mean, one full shulker box of blaze rods will smelt 12 shulker boxes of items. So we're going to put 4 shulker boxes of blaze rods into this thing, which means that we can smelt 46 shulker boxes worth of items before we have to refuel it. I think we're going to be okay for the time being. And even though I've corrected my maths in the very next clip, yeah, 48 shulker boxes, not 46. Even though I've done that, I know that already, in the time between my correction and my mistake, someone will already have written in the comment section that I got my mathematics wrong. It's just the way of the internet. Anyway, that aside, with this final repeater right here, that is the last of the shulker box loaders that are going on down at the bottom here. So all of the items are flowing out from the bottom of the super smelter, and they're going into this area here, which is going to have a shulker box. Now, the one thing that we do have to do is we need to connect up the empty shulker box line to the empty shulker box line up here. So the empty shulker boxes are going to be running through like this. But I can't help but notice that once again, I have run out of hoppers. How many am I going to use in today's episode? And this, Mojang, is why we need iron farms. I mean, in all honesty though, I've used 8 stacks of hoppers in today's episode. That is 40 stacks of iron ore. How long do you think it would take for me to mine 40 stacks of iron ore? Like, just to go out and find it, to actually do a mining session and get 40 stacks of iron ore. I would say that's probably about 20 hours of mining. Just to make one super smelter. No one's doing that. No, just bring iron farms back. Make them good. Oh, for goodness sake, I've run out again. I mean, it's only one, but still. This is the project that just keeps on taking. Hilariously, I actually need way more hoppers than I thought. I haven't even done the hoppers for the top section. Good grief. You know what? I think I'm going to go AFK overnight at this place, and then I'll finish everything up tomorrow morning. Is it actually working? I don't even know if I've switched it on. Well, it seems I got kicked about half an hour after I started AFKing again, so I mean, there's no point in me even building these farms because I just get kicked from the server almost immediately as soon as I start AFKing. Anyway, back over at the super smelter now, we are making progress for the item input or the shulker box input system. So we've placed in all of the extra hoppers, even more hoppers in this area here. And then we also have all of the little observer lines, the crazy setup where we're going to be dropping it into each one of these lines right here. This is all starting to come together. Here goes nothing. I mean, we're about to find out if this thing actually functions. So I've put a bunch of items on the inside of here. If we flick this lever, that will activate the system. They're not reaching the end. Why is that? Oh, what? Okay, now I'm confused. Rather worryingly, this should actually be working properly. I mean, if I grab myself some cobblestone and chuck it on the inside of here, and then, I mean, is it because it's coming from a... I mean, it could be because it's coming from a redstone clock. Okay, so it went through into that one, and it went through into that one, and it went through into that one. So yeah, it's all been correct. I wonder what's happened there. That's unless it's server related. I mean, it could be server related. You never know. Okay, I think I've sorted it out. It turns out that I was literally just missing this last little observer, and that has made it work. So now this is all being evenly dispersed. Thank goodness. I was getting stressed. So this machine is now functioning. We now have ourselves a ridiculous furnace array on the Hermitcraft server that is 4 times as fast as my already ridiculous furnace array. So this thing has 92 furnaces working in unison. I think it will smelt 4 items every 3 game ticks. Or 3 redstone ticks. Either way, it's going to be really, really fast. And the reason that we need something this fast is because of a project that I want to do, and I'm sure some of you can guess what that is by the way that I've turned. So as you know, we have constructed a rather big hole, and as you know, we left the lava down at the bottom. Now, a few people have been saying that it's ugly. I personally, and I've said this a bunch of times, I like the lava simply because it shows the natural landscape, the natural generation of lava throughout the big hole area, and I think it looks cool, especially in the dark when all of the lava is glowing. It's not going anywhere, but I do have to admit that it is quite scary to fly over this thing, knowing that if my elytra don't activate properly, I will fall into lava and I will lose all of my stuff. So the compromise is we cover up all of the lava in glass, preserve the landscape underneath, so it literally becomes like a museum piece, but the lava is now covered, so I can't fall into it. I can't die in there. Now that is going to need 26,000 blocks of glass. I did the calculation, and that is the equivalent of about 14 shulker boxes. It's not actually that much glass. I mean, I reckon we could get it done within about 5 or 6 hours, but it is something that I want to do. It's perfect for a live stream, so I think I'll do it later on in the week, and I thought it would probably be smart to actually get a decent smelter set up before we take on that project, because otherwise it's going to take a very long time to get that level of glass. 14 hours of unsuccessful AFKing later, I reckon it's probably smart to actually gather up some of the sand required for this project, because as I say, we need 13 shulker boxes of the stuff. Now I've been wondering, can you insta-mine sand with efficiency 4? I'm fairly certain you can. So, I mean, it would probably be wise for me to get myself a bunch of shovels that we just regularly enchant, and then we add mending to them, and then we have like a whole batch, like a sand mining kit. That's probably a good move. I have a feeling that Exuma is somewhere where there's plenty of he could be over at his guardian farm, now that I think about it. Yeah, these guys aren't really spawning that often. Despite that, we managed to actually do some pretty good work here. So we had a bunch of diamond shovels over at the witch farm from earlier on. They were all totally unenchanted. So these are our set of good ones, and then these are our set of kind of backup ones. I mean, they're pretty useless. I just realized I left all of my resources in this area here. I need to get better with actually taking my shulker boxes with me. Anyway, the reason we're obviously over here is because of this guy, mending 10 emeralds. I think we have, I don't know, 7 diamond shovels? So we need 70 emeralds. That's no problem. And this guy has not locked out his trades at all. So that is 7 mending books. Easy as that. I absolutely love villagers. I mean, villagers are the best things on the planet. And I've just realised that they're going to be changing them in Minecraft 1.14, and I actually haven't played with them yet. What's it like? Is it any good? Is it fun to play with? I haven't actually tried making any form of trading booth or anything. So I'll be interested to see how that goes, because I know it's quite a big change. Anyway, I'm going to combine all of these things and then we'll be good to go. And you know what? These things always work really nicely in the form of a third-person time-lapse. So I'm going to do a 1-hour sand mining mission, and we'll see how many shulker boxes we can actually get filled. Now, in the second time-lapse of today's video, this one's going to be a super fast time-lapse. I thought it would be a good idea to mention something exciting that is coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow, I am going to be releasing one of my first non-Minecraft videos ever. Now, this is not going to be a running theme. In fact, I mean, I can't see it happening again at all in the near future. But it's something that I'm quite excited about because this was a pretty cool opportunity. So essentially, the team behind Don't Starve, which is a game that I personally have heard really good things about from others, they reached out and they asked me if I wanted to play it as kind of like a sponsored video type thing. And for the first time ever, I said yes, simply because it's a game that I've wanted to play for ages. This seemed like a great excuse. And they also asked me if I wanted to play with Grian. And of course, I said yes as well, because Grian's a friend of mine, so I get to play a game that I've wanted to play for ages with a friend of mine. It just seemed perfect. So that video is going to be releasing tomorrow, and I'm really happy with it. I'm actually really happy with how the video turned out, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts on that one, and I really do hope that you enjoy it. And there it is. This is the space that we've cleared out, and I have to say, it is always very satisfying after a gigantic sand mining mission to take a look at the area that you've taken out in the desert. And it looks pretty impressive. I mean, we've gradually just been dismantling this part of the desert here, and we have managed to get ourselves, I think, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 13. We've actually got enough sand shulker boxes now to do all of that. That is a correct quantity. I think that's 25,000 sand blocks. Not bad at all. I would say that's been massively successful. So I will be doing that at some point in the near future, probably in a live stream. I have no clue how long it's going to take to place 25,000 sand blocks, but actually, you know, I don't actually think it will be as bad as I'm kind of thinking. Although you guys have heard those words before when I first started the hole for my witch farm. Anyway, I really do hope that you enjoyed this episode on the Hermitcraft server. It's been a lot of fun. If you did, please be sure to that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.
One.